Did you know that one of the most infamous female serial killers in history was none other than Aileen Wuornos? Her chilling true story left the world shocked and fascinated. Today, we delve deep into the life and crimes of this notorious killer, exploring the dark corners of her mind and the events that led her down a path of murder. Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you gripping true crime stories that have captivated the world. Today, we explore the life and crimes of Aileen Wuornos, a name that still sends shivers down many spines. Her story is a harrowing tale of childhood trauma, desperation, and a thirst for revenge. Join us as we try to understand the psyche of this female serial killer. Aileen Wuornos was born as Aileen Carol Pittman on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan. Her parents, Diane Wuornos and Leo Pittman, divorced before her birth. Aileen never knew her father, who was eventually imprisoned for child rape and died by suicide while in custody. Aileen's father was diagnosed with schizophrenia multiple times, and he was in and out of prison for sex crimes against children. Aileen did not get to meet him. Aileen and her brother were dumped by their mother at the grandparents' home in January 1960. After a few months, Aileen and her brother were adopted by the grandparents. Aileen's early life was marked by hardships and abuse. Her father was absent, and her mother was unable to care for her, leading to Aileen being raised by her grandparents. Aileen was exposed to sexual behavior at a very young age. She would use sex to gain favors like drugs, cigarettes, and food. She would also engage in sexual activities with her brother, and her grandfather would sexually assault and beat her throughout her childhood. He would also allow his friends to come and sexually abuse Aileen. At the age of 14, she became pregnant by one of her grandparents' friends. She was then placed in a home for unwed mothers. She had her baby, and it was put up for adoption. A little later, her grandmother died, and the grandfather kicked them out of his house. Aileen would end up living in the woods and worked as a sex worker at night to support herself. Growing up in an unstable environment, her years would plant the seeds of anger and resentment within her. This constant exposure to danger and degradation played a significant role in shaping the inner demons that thrived within Aileen. In 1974, when she was 18 years old, she was arrested for driving under the influence, firing a pistol from a moving vehicle, and disorderly conduct. In 1976, she hitchhiked from Colorado to Florida. That is where she met 69-year-old Luis, who was a yacht club president. They got married soon after. Aileen would involve herself in many local confrontations in their local bars, leading to her arrests and jail time. She also attacked her husband with his own walking cane weeks after their marriage, and he filed a restraining order against her, eventually filing for divorce. She then moved to Michigan and would be arrested again for throwing a cue ball at a bartender's head. In July 1976, Aileen's older brother died of cancer, leaving her $10,000 in insurance money. She used this money to pay off a fine she had and bought a car, using the rest of the money in less than 2 months. In 1981, she moved back to Florida, robbed a convenience store, and ended up in prison for a year. A few days after her release, she was caught again for attempting to pass fake checks at a bank. In January 1986, Aileen met a woman named Tyria Moore at a gay bar in Daytona Beach. They fell in love and moved in together quickly. Tyria was a maid in a hotel, and Aileen was the breadwinner, supporting them with her sex work. Tyria would defend Aileen in many instances where she was accused of crimes she had done. In 1989, Aileen's life took a dark turn when she murdered a man who she claimed had assaulted her. Richard Mallory. Her first victim was a 51-year-old man. Richard Mallory owned an electronics store in Palm Harbor and lived in Clearwater. Wuornos shot Mallory and dumped his car with his wallet, condoms, and an empty bottle of vodka in Ormond Beach on deck. 1989. His body was found in a junkyard in Daytona Beach 2 weeks later. Mallory had been shot multiple times in the chest. Mallory was brutally murdered at the hands of Wuornos using a .22 caliber pistol in a secluded area of a forest. Wuornos claimed that Mallory had raped her and she had in turn defended herself using the .22 caliber weapon that she possessed. Richard Mallory was, although the court at the time of the trial would never know, was a violent man who often frequented strip clubs and used the services of prostitutes. Mallory's financial records revealed that he was on the verge of bankruptcy and he had spent time in a mental institution on the charge of attempted rape. The aforementioned information regarding Richard Mallory's background, specifically the charge of attempted rape, make it plausible for the account that Wuornos made to be true. Was Richard Mallory the trigger for the following 6 murders that would occur? David Spears. The nude body of David Spears, a 43-year-old construction worker, was found June 1, 1990, in Citrus County. He had been shot 6 times in the torso and Aileen had stripped his body naked. Charles Carskadden. 5 days after Spears' body was discovered, the body of Charles Carskadden, 40, was discovered in Pasco County tossed on the side of the road. The part-time rodeo worker had been shot 9 times in the chest and stomach. Peter Seams. 65-year-old Peter Seams left Central Florida and headed for New Jersey in June of 1990. His car was found in Orange Springs on July 4, 1990. Though Seams' body has never been found, witnesses described 2 women near the car in Orange Springs. Wuornos' fingerprints were later recovered from the car and several of his effects turned up in local pawn shops. Troy Burris. Marion County law enforcement found the body of Troy Burris, a 50-year-old salesman, on August 4, 1990, less than a week after he was reported missing. Though the body was fairly decomposed, the medical examiner was able to determine that the cause of death was 2 gunshots to the torso. Charles Dick Humphreys. A retired Air Force major, police chief and Florida child abuse investigator, Dick Humphreys was found dead in Marion County on September 12, 1990. The body was fully clothed and had suffered multiple gunshots to the head and torso. Humphreys' car was later found in Suwannee County. Walter Antonio. The partially disrobed body of Walter Antonio, 62, was found November 19, 1990, in a remote part of Dixie County. He had been shot 4 times in the back and head. Antonio's car was found 5 days later in Brevard County. Later on, Tyria and Aileen got into a car accident with one of the victims' cars in front of someone's home. The people in the neighborhood wanted to help Tyria and Aileen, but instead, they became fearful and ran off, leaving the car behind. Homeowners called the police and gave a brief description of the people they saw in the car crash. The police quickly realized it was Aileen and Tyria. The police then ran a huge media campaign trying to get tips as to where they may have gone. They found more property that was pawned, which belonged to victims. They would then find fingerprints that belonged to Aileen on some of the items in the pawn shops. On January 9, 1991, Aileen went to a biker bar in Florida called The Last Resort. Police tracked Aileen and arrested her on an outstanding warrant. Her girlfriend Tyria was found the next day in Pennsylvania. They needed a confession from Aileen, and so they used Tyria to get it. Aileen admitted to her that she killed those men in self-defense as they had tried to rape her. From January to November 1992, Aileen would have numerous trials for each known victim. She received 6 death sentences. There were inconsistencies in her defense, as she stated that the men she killed raped her, and again she said that she robbed and killed those men so that she would eliminate witnesses. In 2001, she petitioned the court to dismiss her legal counsel and terminate all pending appeals, stating, "I killed those men, I robbed them as cold as ice, and I'd do it again too. There's no chance in keeping me alive for anything because I would kill again. I have hate crawling through my system. And I'm so sick of hearing that she's crazy stuff, and I've been evaluated so many times. I'm competent, sane, and I'm trying to tell the truth. I'm one who seriously hates human life and would kill again." Her attorneys tried to dismiss this, claiming she was insane and should not be listened to. However, she persisted, leading to a panel of psychiatrists being appointed to examine her. They found her mentally competent enough, and on October 9, 2002, she declined to have a last meal and opted for a cup of coffee. Her last words were, "Yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back, I'll be back." Aileen targeted men she deemed deserving of punishment for their treatment of women. She saw herself as a vigilante, seeking revenge for the years of abuse she had suffered. The media dubbed her America's first female serial killer. Her case sparked debates on mental health, justice, and the morality of capital punishment. Aileen Wuornos' story continues to captivate our collective imagination long after her execution in 2002. Books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood movie have been inspired by her life. But amidst the fascination, we must never forget the lives she took and the pain she left behind. Her story serves as a chilling reminder of the complexities of human nature and the tragic consequences that can arise from a life filled with trauma. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We would love to hear your thoughts on Aileen Wuornos and her crimes in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating true crime stories. As we conclude our exploration into the life of Aileen Wuornos, let her be a cautionary tale and a reminder of the importance of addressing the root causes of violence and trauma. Stay safe and remember to cherish the good in life even amidst the darkness. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, take care.